Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about the Sagittarius Astrologer, and yes, it does apply and pertain to the Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. And when I say I'm talking about the Sagittarius Astrologer, I'm talking about how I see them as an astrologer, and their style, etc., as one, as their style as an astrologer, etc. So anyway. Well, Sagittarius astrologer I see is very expansive and enthusiastic. They often will accentuate and emphasize the positive aspects or elements in astrology chart more so than the average astrologer because they are that incorrigible optimist. They want to brighten people's spirits. They're a lot of them I could see as being that love and light type of an astrologer. At the same time, keep in mind if they're going to say something negative about your chart, they're going to say it sometimes might be in a blunt or tactless manner. It's generally not going to be malicious. They just feel they like to be on target and they want to say speak what they believe is the veritable truth. They don't hold. Sagittarius is one that's not going to hold back or sugarcoat things and mince words basically. It could come across as somewhat tactless, but they're not trying to do anything, say anything offensive. Now, generally speaking. Now, Sagittarius, of course, is often very jocular, very jovial. A Sagittarius astrologer may laugh with you regarding parts of your chart, not at you, not to offend you, but they might laugh with you and make some jokes, or they may make some clever puns or what have you pertaining to your chart. Now, the thing about Sagittarius too, I can actually see Sagittarius. I mean, Sagittarius, of course, can be enamored with the outdoors. So Sagittarius might actually like outdoor readings a little bit more on average, at least compared to other zodiac signs, because they often are about the outdoors. They don't Sagittarius doesn't really like to be confined or in too much. Now I'm sure most of them will do their astrology readings, say if they're doing an in-person reading for you, the majority will do them inside because that's how most readings are. Sometimes they're done by Skype, they might be done, they're mainly done indoors. But Sagittarius a little bit more outdoors on average, I would say, compared to other astrologers. That's just how I see them. And the thing about Sagittarius too, you got to understand that they're not ones that are going to allow others to dictate how long the reading is going to take for them to get together. Now I understand people still want their charts done in a reasonable, feasible time period, but they're not going to allow somebody generally to rush them. They don't let people drive them or say, well, I need it done at this time because Sagittarius is a free bird, understand but given that they are immutable signs suggesting adaptability, they will get it done generally within reasonable time anyway. But the thing about Sagittarius too is that keep in mind, I mean, Sagittarius is the sign that would be associated with luck and fortune and prosperity. They are ruled by Jupiter. They have, whatever Sagittarius does, it often can be very fortuitous for them. A lot of this is attributed to their positive energy. Their positive energy but what they exhibit positively can often bring prosperity in whatever it is they're doing. They bring the people to them. Often that will help them because of the positive energy they bring. That's how they can often attract others to them, and it can help them stimulate business if they do start an astrology business. The thing about Sagittarius too is that Sagittarius could often be infatuated with sports as well. And Sagittarius might actually be very proficient in doing astrology charts of sports celebrities or maybe predicting sports events through astrology. And keep in mind, relocation astrology may also be a branch that Sagittarius may excel and be adept in because Sagittarius is the sign connected with long journeys or traveling abroad, going to other countries. They might specialize in relocation astrology as far as going to other countries. Now, especially. That's what they may emphasize. It doesn't mean they wouldn't work they wouldn't work necessarily in a in doing relocation charts for that are in one's country, but they could I could see Sagittarius really doing well in relocation astrology as far as other countries go, because that's what's synonymous with the zodiac sign. Now, Sagittarius also, because they're so positive, upbeat, and optimistic, they are the kind of people that will encourage others to expand their horizons. If they see something in their chart, someone's chart, and especially if it's a chart where they can see maybe the person may be a little bit monotonous, or there's something where they're very stagnant. Say if somebody's got a Taurus dominant chart and they're not really doing much in terms of branching out and expanding upon what they can do, or they don't have enough things going on in their life. They're just stuck in a rut. Sagittarius will often be that person to encourage that person to expand their horizons, whatever mean, based on what they see perhaps in their chart. Now, Sagittarius also, again, they are ones that don't like, they can be very averse to being hemmed in and don't generally like to be confined too long. If you're having a Sagittarius astrologer come over to your home, I think it's best if you have a room that's fairly large so they can actually meander, they can expand basically, because Sagittarius don't really like to be hemmed in to really for a very prolonged period anyway. It doesn't mean they couldn't adapt to it, but Sagittarius I could see would rather have their room that they're doing the astrology chart a little bit, at least a little bit bigger than average, fairly spacious. Now, the thing is, because they do like to roam and meander. Now, venerable astrologer, I believe his name is Dane Rudhyar, he has a Sagittarius rising. He's an Aries sun, of course. That's the pioneering energy with him, and the Aquarius moon, of course, injecting that pioneering energy into astrology, and flavored with the Sagittarius ascendant, perhaps doing so with a lot of exuberant and expansive, enthusiastic energy. And Sagittarius, again, is often about expansion and adding on to basically two things, not just being satisfied with the status quo regarding something. So that, I mean, they are the ones that will not, I mean, they just don't like to sit still really in any way, shape, or form. Now, another thing too is that Sagittarius can be one, of course, that is very averse to despondent, pessimistic, or melancholy people. They don't generally like to be around anybody negative. Now, I understand if you're somebody that's reaching out to a Sagittarius astrologer and you have some issues with yourself, and you want you're maybe you're depressed about something in your life, your career, whatever it might be, and you want Sagittarius to help you, that's fine. But the thing about it is, I think if you come across too overly negative and too downtrodden, or despondent, or dejected, or what have you, that could rebuff Sagittarius. So even if you're trying to bring some issue to Sagittarius that you would like him or her to resolve through the analysis of your astrology chart, it's best not to come across as overly negative, even if you are hurting at that time, because they generally don't like to be around somebody that's overly negative or pessimistic, so because it brings their spirits down strongly. Now, also too, another thing about Sagittarius, keep in mind that they are perpetual learners. They are the ones, I mean, compared to the other zodiac signs, on average will want to continue to keep learning astrology. They will not generally become complacent or self-satisfied with whatever it is that they have accomplished in terms of knowledge that they have assimilated. They are the ones that generally will keep on learning and really indefinitely till the time they stop becoming interested in astrology. Could be their dying days or what have you. But anyway, the negative about Sagittarius though is that their danger, being so upbeat as they are, they have that danger of being over optimistic or exuberant, and it might consequently result in them taking on more than they can handle sometimes. Sagittarius has to be careful as an astrologer not to promise more than they can deliver. They might really convince themselves that they can get X amount of astrology charts in a certain amount of time, but they might only wind up getting half of it done because they believe so strongly that they can do it at the time, and then they like, I guess I overstepped my mark basically. So that's really what you have to consider as far as astrology. I mean, as far as a Sagittarius astrologer may go. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.